The dropshipping model is also not so easy like you would expect, On YouTube, you kind of see this trend, a lot of videos going out trying to make you believe that dropshipping as a business model is kind of very easy. They make it appear like you just set up the whole thing, then you have to relax, sometimes at the beach, sometimes somewhere in some nice country, and then money just keeps coming to your account, They tell you a lot of things about this automation stuff and stuff like that. See, respect first of all to the people that dropship, I respect you guys, On a surface level, it kind of looks easy, which is you set up an offer. As soon as the offer says you buy it from wherever, maybe Amazon, or you want to do the reverse, which is you set up an offer on Amazon, and as soon as it says you buy it on eBay and try to send it to the buyer. Look, it looks easy on the surface level, but when you begin to execute it, then you begin to see the challenges that are going to crop up. And these challenges, a lot of people don't talk about it, which is kind of sad, because when you don't talk about the challenges, you set up an expectation in the minds of whoever is going to do the drop shipping. But then when the business starts, then you start to see all the challenges that you never ever expected. One of the challenges that you'll be facing if you want to drop ship is that your item will sell on the other end, and you try to buy it only to realize that the item is no longer available, one, or the price has suddenly changed. So yes, I'm aware that there are some software that you can use to check the prices and to delete your offers here, but in the end, you're going to pay for those services. So sometimes you have sold an item and you can no longer find the item for some reason or the other. So you either have to cancel a transaction, which on eBay is really something that you shouldn't be doing all the time, because if you keep canceling transactions on eBay because you cannot find the item, sooner or later, eBay is going to come after you and you are possibly going to lose your account. You see, another thing that the profits on your dropship items, they are typically very, very, very small, and in some cases there's little or no meat left in the bone. So most of the dropshippers, I really do not know the motivation for continuing to do something that has very, very, very little profit. So you can basically see a typical dropshipper declaring very good sales figure. He has made 200,000 euros in sales or $200,000 in sales. But then you see things like profit after tax or profit after expenses, 4,000 euros. It's not unusual to find this kind of margins. When you drop ship, you do a lot of volumes. But then at the end of the day, when you remove the expenses, you just suddenly realize that the profit that is left for you is very, very, very little. And sometimes HP Ultra Slim docking station, sometimes this is not really motivating. You see, one way dropshipping could be fun, which I kind of imagine, something I'm thinking about really, is if you get a good supplier that says, you know what, go ahead and list my products. Doesn't matter where you list them, on eBay, on Amazon, doesn't matter. But as soon as the item sells, I'm going to ship it out to your customer. This is, you have a promising note from a supplier. In that way, dropshipping could be a little bit fun. This supplier in itself is going to see how he can be sure that you don't have direct competitors, which is going to regulate the number of people that he's going to service. So if you're going to be selling on eBay, you're going to be practically 2, 3, or 4 people using this service, so that if the item sells, the supplier in itself is not overwhelmed as to what item to ship out, or he's able to track what items are available, and he's able to also give you a price that is kind of friendly. It makes no sense to be dropshipping a product. At the end of the day, you only have $3 left. Yeah, if you don't anything. If you've not put in any physical work to fulfill the item, yes, $3 could be a lot of money, but be that as it may, no matter how easy the process will be, you still have to put in some work. You still have to research some items yourself. Sometimes you still have to set up some listings, and these things take time. And so if you have a good supplier, in this case, dropshipping could be fun, but apart from that, it could be a lot of work. You have to constantly be on your game. You have to constantly be deleting and relisting offers. But like I said, if you've got a very good supplier that says, hey, come, let's do it together. Like I sell a lot of computers, I sell monitors, I sell port replicators, I sell a lot of little hardwares. If I get 200 pieces of a particular hardware, I can say, look, guys, I need 5 guys to list this thing on a particular platform, perhaps eBay, Amazon, it doesn't matter, even on your own website. If the item sells, I'm going to be shipping it out to you, so you don't have to worry about the packaging. See, we have a kind of a relationship, you know. In this way, drop shipping makes a lot of sense. And I'm thinking about something like this. If this is something that might be of interest to you, go ahead and comment below so that I can take a look and see how I can work out the modalities. This is just an idea that came up spontaneously because every day I see a lot of videos on YouTube. Dropshipping is kind of very loud here on YouTube to be a dropshipper. People declare that they make a lot of money, really, and I know that it's possible. Given that I'm in business, I know that if you can actually set up a good dropshipping offer and you've got really good processes to deliver the item, you could really make quite a lot of money. The headache is gone. Yeah, the headache is gone. It's also relative because even though you are drop shipping, it doesn't remove the burden from you that you have to still deal with customer requests. The customer service side of things, you still have to be on your game to do that, because typically dropshippers have a way of getting really bad reviews, because the number one reason why that is so is because items typically arrive at the buyer's address very late, and sometimes the buyers are already very angry before the item comes. So, and when the item finally arrives, if it doesn't meet the buyer's expectation, the first thing he or she thinks of is how to give a very bad review. And this is why you see typically a lot of dropshippers on eBay. Sometimes I even wonder why the account is still active. Sometimes they have 20, 30, 40 negative reviews in a particular month, and yet the account is still active, still selling on eBay. See, I don't understand how that works, because typically when I have 1 or 2 bad reviews, it kind of works me up, and I always see to it that I remove it as soon as possible. Either I have to just hit up the customer and say, you know what, don't worry, you don't have to pay for the item, please take up the review, or in some rare cases I take up the offer, the case with eBay, and try to see if eBay can override the negative review or a neutral review. You see, it's not so easy to be a dropshipper. At the end of the day, a lot of people just want a business model where you don't have to do anything, strictly passive income. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to work, you don't have to lift a pin. You just have to do it one time and it keeps generating money for you. Spoiler alert, there's little or no business model like that. But like I said, dropshipping itself, if you can do it and you do it right, you might really be balling. So in the coming weeks, I'm going to be looking at how possible it is. I know it's going to be a lot of work for me to set up this whole thing and make it really work. So I have the idea in my head, but still trying to see how I can actually set up a little offer for a small group of people, which is whenever I have a very good quantity of an item, say a monitor, the idea is if it sells at your end, I'm just going to pick the monitor from my warehouse like I've just done now, put it in a box. You give me the information that you need. I mean, you give me the delivery address. I'm going to print out everything from my printer and just set it up and let it go to your buyer. And If there are customer service issues, yes, definitely that you have to pick up yourself, because sometimes the customer service issues on eBay, they are just out of this world. Sometimes customers just want to write because they are out to just make trouble. So, but then if the items I'm shipping out to your customers are in really good working condition, which is they are kind of grade A goods, I see no reason why there should be a lot of problems. These monitors, I've been selling a lot of them. I've received absolutely zero complaints because they are in very good condition. And I mean, the monitor arrives complete with power cables and monitor cables, and there's little or no reason why someone should write me. And if the monitors were in bad conditions, I would have also made the pictures and made it known to whoever is buying it that, look, these are good monitors, but unfortunately, they've got signs of use on the monitor screen and so on and so forth. So let me know what you all think. If it makes sense, then we can set up something. But in the meantime, respect to the dropshippers. It takes a lot of work also. It takes a lot of practice to get it right. And it takes a lot of discipline to really be a dropshipper that succeeds. Otherwise, you're going to do it 1, 2, 3 months and then you lose your account and you have to start all over again. But I can in some way imagine why some people decide to go the drop shipping route, because it's kind of easier to start in some sense. You don't need a lot of upfront costs. The only cost you need to incur is just setting up the offer, which is if you need to buy a computer or a phone, whatever. So what that means is that anyone that's willing to play some game can actually just go about setting up. You don't need to source for item physically, which is you basically have to do a lot of stuff online, which is online arbitrage, sorry. So this is the motivation. It's hard to get capital to start a real business, you know. Thrifting, as it were, doesn't really cost a lot to start, but it's hard to get capital to start a real business, you know. So this is one of the motivations for people going into dropshipping, because you don't have to incur a lot of upfront costs. The cost you only have to incur is basically the cost of you buying your computer, whatever it is. And I kind of imagine that a lot of people have computers right now, or at least a smartphone. So this is one of the motivations, because it's really hard to get a business capital. Sometimes you see a good deal, you want to take advantage of it, but then you have to put $2,000 on the table, sometimes $3,000, to be able to get these items and then resell them. And not everybody has that kind of money to put on the table. That's why some people are just forced to start something. And this is another reason why I respect these people that drop ship, because from nothing, they still have the motivation to create something. You see, but the advice is, if you are a drop shipper, as soon as you can raise some substantial amount of money, try to think about a better business model, which is you actually reaching out to brands or to suppliers and developing a very good business relationship with them, so that on the long run, you can actually build a sustainable business. This was an order that was, this was a hard drive that was ordered, but I just checked my email now so that the buyer wanted to cancel this transaction. Luckily, I have not shipped it, which makes a lot of sense. So it's kind of easier for me to cancel it, but this is also something we're going to be talking about in the next video, because there are so many offers, there's so many orders that will be cancelled when you sell on eBay, and sometimes it may be annoying, but sometimes it's what it is. You have to chew it, you have to move on. We're going to be talking about that in the next video. But like I said, dropshippers, as soon as you get a little capital, try to see how you can easily set up a good relationship with a supplier. This will take a lot of stress off your shoulder, which is, if you sell clothes, see how you can buy them in bulk. If you sell electronics, see how you can get them in bulk. It's going to require a lot of upfront work, but as soon as you get things set up, things rolling, you're going to be able to have a more predictable business, a more predictable income. So this is all I've got for you today. Until I see you again, peace.